Hey, and welcome back to Made Up of Wires, where our connections are failing. Actually, Something.z.dev is not loading for me, but I'm sure it will load for you. Usually, it's just something with my computer, so. You can go to Something.z.dev to learn more about the Castlevania Symphony of the Night decompilation project. You get graphs like that will give you some insight as to how far along we are. You can also find a link to GitHub. And, oh, is that from Biz Murphy? An issue from Biz Murphy back from June. You'll see a bunch of the progress that's been made on various overlays. A lot of work to be done on bosses and a lot of work to be done on the reverse castle. And we're working on the clock tower. When we left yesterday, we were trying to get through Karasuman. Let's see if any of these tabs will load. So we're working on the PSP version. I hate the real OAFs. I want to get through, so we have a bunch of additional moves and moves that are missing. Some of those may be related to variables, and we'll figure that out. I want to get through this bottom section. First, that's where the majority of the different code is. See if we can figure that out. And then we'll move on from there. So the first thing that I want to look at is this load here. It might be helpful to go through and rename these to match the PSP symbols. So maybe I'll do that first. So we're using decomp.me. Decomp.me is a decompilation editor that allows you to write C or C++ code, see the instructions that get generated by that, and then see how it compares to what was originally on the game disk. And so what I think I'm going to try to do is rename these to match the PSP, just to get a better sense of what, don't do that, of what those instructions are generating, map them a little easier. At least it's easier for me. And then we'll keep going. And what it looks like to me is that, based on the instructions, is that this particular pointer is being pulled out first. And so if we go to what that pointer is, actually no, I think it's this one here. This pointer is being pulled out, and so that is an assigned 8 pointer. Actually, we have that as a frame property array. So let's try that. Let's make a frame property pointer. Let's do this, actually. We'll take this frame property, and we're going to assign that up here first. And that gives us, the correct instructions here. And now down here, I think we're going to do a plus equals to the index. And that looks like it matches as well. It's not exactly this, though. So let's actually, instead of making this a signed 8, which I think it ultimately is going to be, let's make it a frame property and see if that ends up being the right type. And it might just be like a quad of oh, we won't need to do the cast here. Let's see what else I screwed up along the way. Get my problems. Oh, okay, so it doesn't like that we're casting here. So what I'm going to do is, let's look at the frame property type. And it is just signed 8s. So this is ultimately what we want. And I did try this originally on the PlayStation version, and I think it's going to have to go back to this, but we'll see how far along we can get this way. Frame, hitbox width, and Roaming said he worked on something just like this recently as well. So it might be worth looking at that as well. And so, yeah, what we're missing here is ultimately this will get cast to a signed 8. So let's do that. Let's undo all those changes. We are gonna make this a signed 8 pointer. Then we have to go down here. We have to cast this as a signed 8 pointer. Our index, we're going to do index times size of frame property. And that gives us the shifts that we want. And then the rest of this works as well. And the only thing we're missing then is, or the only thing that's in place here is this move to S2, which we don't need. And so that ends up working out pretty well. So now we do have some other stuff. Let's look at M2C again and see what's going on there. So SP20, it's not figuring out what that is. I just want to make sure that offset 8 is actually velocity x, and yeah, that looks correct. So when we see unknown 8 here, it's referring to velocity x. Unknown 2 is position x I high. And then we have a 24 minus. 24 is 32, 36. Let's change those to decimal. And then seems to be PlayStation specific. So I'm going to leave that as PlayStation specific. 64, this will be 80. And I'm going to structure this like the others. There might be an offset Y calculation in here, but I'm not sure. Let's look and see how close we are. Oh, we are missing the second part then. So maybe I was wrong here. Let's do this. Let's So it looks like velocity x is getting pulled in possibly as a separate variable. And we're also pulling in offset y at the same time. All right, so let's go add another variable up here, and that's kind of common, especially if they're going to be used. Let's actually add the tile map high here. Not sure if that's there or not yet. Looks like it is. And so we would get rid of it down here then, and the velocity actually might be... No, all this is gone from down here. That does give us one extra variable though. But it does get things a little closer. I think the next thing to do is we'll check this on the PlayStation, and then we'll go and try to match up the variables on the other side. Oh, so that looks like all that was missing. This variable here is going to be wrong. I'll switch that back. So that is matching now. I believe there might be a few things here, but it looks like we have a match on the PlayStation. I think it's just going to be symbols. We have something slightly wrong on 319. And this 196 is too small. We need what, another 32? Let's try 226. It's much too far. Why wasn't 196 working? Oh, it's too far. 192. 192 works. See if I have 196 anywhere else. Doesn't look like it. So everything else looks like symbols. So I think that's it. Nothing more to do there. Let's see if I can get this page to save is right here. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're at 93. Like I said, what I think is missing is getting the variables set up correctly. So let's try that. We have this index. We probably don't need the index. And that gets us where we need to be for the stack. And so, yeah, now we have to go through and check registers. So registers should be roughly aligned with registers and variables should be roughly aligned. There are going to be cases like this where maybe we don't get the instructions that we expect. So it looks like these maybe are split into multiple instructions. No, not quite. I would expect the S4 there. It could also be that these are backwards. What's happening is that these are being added together and then assigned. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try doing the scroll Y first and then doing plus equals with self. See if that, no, that's the wrong order then. Okay, so we're getting an extra instruction in there that we don't need or want. I'm going to check out the other S4s. S4 should not show up anywhere else. That's the only place offset Y is being used. But we are getting it here on 361. That can happen. It's not the end of the world when it does. It's just not ideal. A few things here. Looks like a type difference, 247. I had this originally like this. It looks like maybe that's not the case. Generally, when these are backwards, I think it's a pass-through assignment, or I treat it like such, but it looks like that is just incorrect. It could also be a bug fix. Oh, let's put it back the way it was. The key here is the SEH and what might be causing the SEH. We do need, I think, the right to both these, and I think what's happening is that this is a plus equals. That should get rid of the SEH. Yeah, that's better. Maybe it looks like we have the same thing up here. Minus equals 4. And this isn't going to affect the PlayStation version at all. Probably lost my S4 selection in the process, but that's okay. Let's get to the top. Look through it again and see what might be going on. So 70. S4 is being used here, but it's implicit as part of this switch. Uh, 234. I think that's that same section that we were just looking at. So when a register isn't being used or assigned to a variable, it's somewhat common that happens. And it's just used for temporary ephemerals. All right, so S4 looks fine. S3. Seeing too many uses of that either, are we? Okay, so we finally see it down at 490. And that looks like offset X. So it seems pretty clear that that's offset X and offset Y, S3 and S4. And S3 isn't being used anywhere else. So S2, we get the first use of S2 is going to be ephemeral. Up here in the hit flags, And there's not anything we can do about that directly. Then on 56, it's being used as part of the switch. Nothing we can do about it there either. Not directly anyway. It's getting used as well in this initialize entity call. So I to 11. Getting here used as the Z priority, it's possible and we could try this, that it's setting Z priority and then doing an entity Z priority plus plus. Nope, that's not correct. It may be worth working out some of the entity extension and getting some of the correct types there. Let's start that. Oh, my scroll ball is dirty. And this will be the entity extension Karasuman. And what do we want for Karasuman? So we know that at offset 8.2, we're gonna have a timer. So let's put a sine 32, or just 32 bits of padding first, and then, sorry, 8.0. This is gonna be our timer, and it's a sine 16 timer. And then when we have, oh, yeah, I did that. When we have these here, we're gonna replace those. Instead of using the illegal extension, we're gonna do Karasuman timer and replace all those. And it shouldn't affect much, but it makes this obviously much more readable. And we'll do a few more of those before we get into copying it over to the PlayStation. So then we're at quite a few bytes into the extension to get to the parent pointer. I'm going to assume that all of the sub-entities, so the feathers and the other attacks, that they're all going to be using the same entity extension. They don't always, but often they do. So let's assume that and build it out that way. And then we'll see how that goes. So I've 2 word or 8 bytes. I need 8 of those all together. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll update these offsets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then at 9C, we'll have an empty pointer. We'll call that parent. And that we'll call, oops, come on, I can select and I can type. There we go. We'll call that parent, and now we can get rid of the cast. It looks like I screwed something up in my context. Struct is not defined yet. I need to fix that. That would be nice to do. And so we need to get rid of the casts here now. Some of these may end up fixing some of the other things that happen. They may not. We'll see. Oh, here's something interesting on line 210. I didn't notice that earlier. We're doing a load word. Oh, it's duplicating the load word. It's going into V1 and then to A0. And that's because we're setting the entities value there. And maybe there's a few more of those that we can find. That will help us out. Maybe I screwed this up a couple times. So let's say that. Let's find any other ext illegals and try to determine if we can tell what this is. So this this first one at unsigned 8. Offset 9. I'm going to add a 10 here. It looks like we have a couple different flags. Those flags look like they may be related to what attack is happening. So we have 8, 9, and 10 that are all different Booleans. And those are going to be at the various offsets. So we have we're going to split this one. So I'll just call it flag 2 for now. So at 83, we're going to have flag 0, 84, and 85. Flag 0, 1, and 2. And then at 86, we're going to have 24 bits of additional padding. And let's make sure that those worked out like I thought. Yeah, same scratch. Just working through it. I hate to say it, but I think you're going to be right about the function signatures. We'll see. I don't like it, but I don't get to decide. All right. So like I said, I think that these flags are going to be various types of attack. So this one is flag 1. We got Let's see if... Is that it? That's all of them. All right, so those are all the fields in the entity extension that we currently need. So I'm going to add this over to the PlayStation version, and we'll copy that over and see if we're any closer. I think we should be a little bit closer because we found some bugs. And we'll see. I have 8 minutes and then I have to get going. I don't know if this is going to be finished today. We'll try the function signature thing. Ooh, 590, so we're further. That's not good. So it looks like several of these are off. And so either either I got them wrong on this side, which is possible. Let's find one of the incorrect values. 130, flag 0. See if that is correct over here. Yeah, I got it wrong. Oh, drat. So it looks like there's 16 bits that I was missing. So let's just fix that. I see. So, yeah, I was just missing it. And that's correct now. So, fortunately, I don't think that's too much of a setback. But still, now we're at 560, which is not really better. The parent pointer is off. It looks like I did not add that correctly, so we're just one word away. We ended up with a register issue. Oh, that may mean that I just copy-pasted wrong. Most likely. Let's look at all the parents. Parent should never set self. It should always be on entity. And that looks like what the mistake was. Alright, so now we're back. At least where it was. Let's get rid of one word there. Alright, so pretty close. Your get site to player does not take an ARG. Hopefully that was what's causing. Could that be what's causing the issues on the PSP? Now we're at 140. I thought we were done with the PlayStation earlier, but looks like not. Fingers crossed. Does this fix the PSP? It does. So it wasn't a function signature issue, it was that we just had the wrong value. So there's one more incorrect thing I think here. Usually if this is an odd number, there's a constant or something else that's wrong. So let's find where that is. So usually I'm looking for pairs of differences, which means a symbol name is different, which I'm okay with. What it could be a function name that differs, which is less okay. There we go. 436. This is going to be minus 2. Minus equals 2. There we go. Hey, don't fluff the pillows. Good to have you back. It's been a while. 462, there's a difference between the PSP's button flags and the PlayStation's button flags, but those aren't same thing here. The macros will work themselves out. I'm a little surprised actually that this worked out. Didn't change. That subtraction or the addition of a byte worked out to be the same thing, and it must be the instruction that's chosen instead, because that field is a byte-sized field. Adding FE or subtracting 2 ends up working out the same. So that's kind of a nice thing of 2's complement. So let's see if we can get this to compile. Cross our fingers. That'd be great. We do need the entity extension. I'm gonna undo this. Do the entity extension first. And that way, when I can recompile, make sure that the build is clean. And then if there are any issues with the other stuff, it will it'll be more obvious. Didn't save after I undid. I think the cause of that set no at warning is because of the different versions of the assembler versus the compiler that we're using. If we were using the original PlayStation SDK assembler, we wouldn't get that. Looks like PAL OVL was renamed. Yeah. Cinemax. Oops. TIG. This must have been a huge change. Palette wheel is used a lot of places. Yeah, look at that. Cheapers. Is there a message? Palette enum. All right. We probably need a if we don't already have a linter for that, probably need one. All right, and that worked. All right. So, Karsuman is done. Some work will need to be done. There is a ton of these animation sets for Karasuman, and I think it's going to be easiest to probably import those and map the data first. I will take all of these and we can put them in NZ1, the NZ1 header. It would be good to keep them in order. I don't know the best way to do that, but that wouldn't be the worst thing to do. Probably should just copy these in the order that they come in and put them in. It's odd they don't always, I guess they should appear in the initialization, so they will get used regardless. But we got it. Oh, and so .z.dev is loading in my normal browser. So that's what we're doing. We're decompiling Castlevania Symphony of the Night. We got through Entity Karasuman. Go to soten.z.dev to learn more and join us in Discord. That's all I got. And Merry Christmas Eve. And I will hopefully be back tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll see you after Christmas. Adios.